This map of Megataka is pretty interesting. Guys, comment, subscribe, leave a like on the video, share it. Help me reach monetization in my relaxing playthroughs. Maybe in the future I'll make shorter form content talking about various things related to video games and things I'm interested in. The capital city of Megataka has 124,000 people. Religions are Hylia, Andhra, Magran, Bharat. Imports, things they buy is wheat, cotton, textiles, leather, silk, marble, savef, white leaf. Exports are palm oil, rice, cocoa, pearls, teak, koiku fruit, and luminous andhra. Government is a limited monarchy. The ruler is Queen Unikada II. The island Ua are 57%. The ocean folk are 18%. The coastal Ua are 16%. The savannah folk 5%. Mountain dwarf 3% and other are 1%. Interesting. I know we gotta go probably to this sacred stair here for what's this quest. Backside armor. This bounty situation. Turn off Guam. Unhurt to go here. Stalled in the wound. Never told me. So he's either gonna be at the tavern, the southwestern bridge, or behind the district's waterfall. See what path they take to get to the waterfall, the most efficient route is. I gotta say, the game looks beautiful. I just love looking at this game. It's pretty enjoyable.
Have you heard about the commotion at the palace?
Of course.
No,
Something
I
about luminous Adra.
A giant made of luminous Adra.
Someone's
All I know is that they're all at each other's throats up there.
right. Find Lara Borodata. Settle the conflict. Against a backdrop of jeering youths. Interesting. I didn't realize there was a castle here too. I just love the atmosphere of games like this. It's nice and relaxing. You can play and be engrossed in the world. I'm just gonna take a quick picture. So many good picturesque shots. Against a backdrop of jeering youths, a young woman raises her arms with an air of practiced drama. Before her, two men stand across from each other, mirroring scowls.
You both attest that you have made all possible efforts to come to a peaceful...
Laro's second in command, I'm assuming. The woman trails off as you approach and you find yourself in a sudden target of the crowd's attention.
Who is this Nasenale? How many cousins do you have or so?
This boy is cousins. On my volume. 20. Laro chuckles.
Postenago.
Orso
Does
Valera.
that look like any cousin of mine?
Postenago means literally the Villian term for carrot, but conversationally meaning idiot. You idiot. Does that look like any cousin of mine?
How should I know? Your kin lie with eels.
Orso glares at Lara and bites back whatever insults he had at the ready. Continue?
We have business. What do you want?
Well, let me see. Oh, what's going on here for starters? I'm here to fetch Laro. Nero's looking for him. A few chuckles arise from the bystanders. Laro's face flushes with embarrassment.
The family keeps you on a tight leash, Laro. Will getting impaled on a Valera blade prove something to them?
Continue.
What's your words, Oaf? You want the Juana to know we're dueling?
My
Continue.
bad so to the tribals. We should be free to settle matters on valiant terms.
He glances in your direction with annoyance. So I guess I'm an unwanted element in this situation. Just my style. Continue.
Small wonder the old empire collapsed in civil strife if this is the Valian way.
Alop sneers. Continue.
And how do your colonies fare, Adira?
A good point. Lara, what say you? I suppose you have good reason for this duel. You don't have to do this, you know. Kill each other if you like. I'm not getting involved. Lara, what say you?
We are civil enough to kill each other without making an incident out of it.
Yeah, I suppose you have good reason for this.
This street thug called my family a warren of corrupt inbreds. But is there a dung heap in all the world that does not have a little Valera cousin scratching through it?
Lara opens his arms wide and smiles to the milling crowd.
That wolf he calls mother would have us live out our days polishing Bardato silver.
Orso spits at the ground between them. Shut up and shake hands before I hurl you both over this waterfall. Or I could watch them duel. You know what, let me use my strength. Lara and Orso trade uneasy glances, their vitriol for each other momentarily set
A
aside.
threat? Liberos? We are the sons of the wealthiest families in Deadfire.
Don't give a shit. Keep talking, I'll draw your soul into the great beyond.
Miller! Scatter!
Lara whistles to his attendants and they break apart in a organized exodus from the scene.
What? Where are you going, you stuffed shirt? Hey, wait! This isn't over, you coward! You can't hide behind your corrupt mother forever!
Ah, see. Someone's coming. Someone's coming. Alright.
Yeah?
Let's get ongoing feud between Barbados and the Valletta families. It's interesting. Family pride. Search Queen's birth. Kill Lord Admiral Imp and take his head. His crown. Find the ancient temple where Chapol. That is bounty on Chon as well. Bounty on Biarka. And Lord Emperor. Legion's birth. Never get those here. Maybe those fools with that particular bounties there. Might wanna focus on these outside bounties for now. How to take a stare at Nicotech. Only lead to Lucian Riven lies buried. Goods that serve as captain, all these wants to parlay. Let us have to go there for the main quest. think we'll stick to that. Okay. The map maker, nice.
You think so? He is a magnificent beast, isn't he?
Yes,
He's been a bit low lately. Between you and me, I think he's heartsick for the sea.
Did you write the book?
I'm putting together an explorer's account of the Deadfire. Or at least the part of it Queen Onekaza's tribe has laid claim to. My book will be the first of its kind. The Explorers Club will go mad for it. Or, well, that was the idea. It's a fiercely dangerous enterprise, in point of fact, and nobody will agree to chart the islands for me. You'd think ship captains would be a bold-hearted bunch. I offered fair recompense. I'm not exactly the most powerful fighter, or I do it all myself. Still, wouldn't it be wonderful? An explorer's guide to the Deadfire. Someday.
Need a hand?
Do you mean it? This is... Wow! I can't thank you enough. It's a lot of ground, I mean water to cover, and some of these islands are in very dangerous waters. Don't worry, I planned it all out. We'll get your feet wet first.
I
With a
see.
little experience under your belt, I'm sure you'll get a taste for it. Nothing will stop us. I mean, you. The idea is to explore all the islands that haven't been charted yet, or even named. That falls to you, amico. You can't tell me you've never wanted to name your own island. I thought we could start with the waters around the company outpost at Port Maggi. There are 2 islands in the region, and nobody's taken much notice of them yet. Once you're back, I'll start filling in my map and adding your findings to the book. Oh, this will be wonderful.
Explore the uncharted islands around Port Maggi.
Nice and slow.
Interesting. Oh, by accident, I was pointed to stealth mode. It is what it is. It is what it is. Alright. Let's... I have multiple quests that require me to go out that's doable at my current level. Obviously the main quest. I might end up going out, actually.
Oh, think I were born blue, eh? Think being this pretty come natural?
Well, dang, Seraphim. I never knew you were so fancy.
Yeah, but mayhaps I'll be giving them merkberries a go. Ain't never been maroon before.
I think we're gonna head back to the ship. Let's do some of these missions best. As you ready your ship, a cloak figure lost the gangplank and was forcibly plunged into weakness. Turn on the power play. Quest finding out this tone reaches the smoke. Most viewers face the pages of main array of the black that survives the fire damage. This kind of now it's nothing more than a charred relic of the body.
You crack the spine of the old book, revealing recede into the shadows the longer you focus on them. Suddenly, the page widens to eclipse the world around you. A dark void stretches out on all sides, the air full of choking fumes that carry dying embers and curling flakes of ash.
This isn't funny, Margaret.
Something stirs in the darkness. An old woman steps forward, leering down at you from on high. Her smile is toothy and cruel. Her cheeks warp around it like melted candle wax.
I'm so glad that my messenger tracked you down.
These days it's impossible to find good help.
Boudica. It's impossible to find good help, probably because you're losing worshippers. Maybe if you weren't such a bitch. My lady, keep your distance, hag. Ah, show her some respect, I feel bad.
Before you draw your weapon, know that these proceedings are under a banner of peace. If this was a trap, it would have already closed around you. While Bareth whispers in one ear and Aethys shouts in the other, I thought you could use a more seasoned perspective to drown out the noise.
I see. What could you probably say that I haven't already heard? They dragged me into a blistering inferno. Was the ruse of the book really necessary?
This is but a small corner of the beyond. One that I use for privacy and contemplation, when I need to get away from the endless chatter.
The fiery part of hell.
Don't you find it unusual how open and accessible my siblings have made themselves? After millennia of subdued whispers, now they practically scream their intentions.
That is true.
And isn't it strange how we never bicker unless a mortal is watching?
God's a dramatic bunch by nature, is it? Tell me, what's your point?
If we still possessed our glorious titans, my siblings and I would have put an end to Aethys and his rampage by now.
Glorious titans. Interesting.
While we are powerless to stop him, some of my kin wish to observe how mortals respond to this threat. They think it will shine a light on the value of our patronage. Have we raised you well enough to be self-sufficient? Or must we return to Eora and impose some corrective measures?
I see. And if we prove ourselves, what then?
What indeed? That would depend on which of us you ask. A cross-section of society has converged on the Deadfire. Some of my kin are of an opinion that we are meant to judge mortals on the basis of their performance, while the rest of us have already made up our minds on the matter.
You want the gods and the mortals alike under your command. So why do I get the feeling you're trying to convince me of something?
Judge for yourself. But I think you'll find my intentions are more straightforward than you think. When we ascended to godhood, we did so to provide for a savage people.
Ascended to
Our
godhood.
goal was to craft a society whose values were made to last.
Interesting. So you weren't always gods, or these things we call gods. Perhaps you were mortals who just transformed into energy beings of higher dimensions? Powerful, but still within the creation of something, someone, some intelligence that's even greater than you that created everything. Right? Monotheism is the answer here. The polytheists, you pretender gods, are just that, limited. That's why the word God itself can sometimes be useless.
Perhaps even a society that had no need of us. A naive fallacy, but one that inspired my optimistic, misguided kin. How you and your allies counter this threat will demonstrate whether you are competent enough to guide your own destinies, or if we need to revise our strategy. The soft-hearted among us are counting on you to win this existential wager. No doubt, Aethys shares their sympathies. I do not. We exist to rule over mortals. Nothing can change that. So now you know the truth. I assume you have questions.
I want to talk to you about the wheel in your rise to godhood.
The wheel is our shared responsibility, and each of us serves it in our own fashion. I am the axle upon which the gods balance their power. Aethys keeps the wheel in motion, He was our promise to mortals that time and labor would yield a deserving reward on the next turning of the cycle.
How did the ingredients become gods? How exactly does the wheel function?
At the height of our power, we recognized the potential of the soul. We knew that it could be bound, split apart, diverted like a river, and hammered together. Hammering was trivial. Those of us who agreed with the Apotheosis Project, and many who did not, submitted to a violent and horrible erasure of our individuality. After the dust settled, we adopted the forms of beings from Eora's most prevalent myths. There were other faiths and legends, but we labored to strike their names from history.
Interesting. What were those other prevalent myths, those other faiths that you struck from history? Were they more monotheistic in nature? And did you pick myths that would serve you the most? How exactly does the wheel function?
Much of reincarnation's mechanism exists in the idea space of the beyond. You wouldn't find a wall of cogs and levers unless we conjured one to illustrate a point.
Interesting. You wouldn't find a wall of cogs and levers. It's just our comprehension that we would see a metaphor for what we can comprehend. Much of reincarnation's mechanism exists in the idea space of the beyond.
The wheel has but one material component in all of Eora. Something we built to channel essence through luminous Adra and into the beyond with reliable continuity.
The wheel has but one material component in all of Eora, something we built to channel essence through luminous Adra into the beyond. Interesting. They help you to turn the souls reliably under your control in the beyond through the cycle, without which you might lose control perhaps. Perhaps you don't have as much control of the beyond as you think, except beyond the technology that you developed. Still, I doubt. I wonder what myths you've erased.
Before we intervened, the flow of essence was directionless, unpredictable. We succeeded in widening the gap, diverting it, giving it an efficient path to follow.
The flow of essence was directionless and predictable. Was it really though? Or was it you just perceived it to be such? And if the wheel and the reincarnation is shift existed before you, who ultimately created this system and this universe? Reincarnation existed before you, so why not just leave it alone?
Before we took control of the wheel, reincarnation was error-prone, lacking forward momentum. Hollowborn were fairly common, and hardly the worst of the soul maladies. Control gave us the power to strengthen the souls of intelligent kith over generations. We made you wiser, stronger, more likely to develop the society we thought you deserved. Every turning of the cycle demonstrated the righteousness of my belief. Nature begets chaos, and discipline begets perfection.
Yeah.
Speak, Watcher. It isn't every day that I open myself to these communions, so spend your breath wisely.
Has your opinion of mortals changed at all?
Nothing you've done has tarnished it utterly beyond repair. You may congratulate yourself on that much, at least.
The gods think my actions can prove their point about mortal society?
Prove it or disprove it, yes. I never agreed to this arrangement, but if your example demonstrates mortal ineptitude, as I trust it will, then I can make the plans serve me. An assertive minority of gods believe that your choices will prove the value of their wild optimism. As if mortal collaboration and ingenuity are endorsements of our leadership. Then there are those of us who know better, who are not so easily convinced. Kith are vulnerable, unless they submit to the destiny we chart for them. Thinking otherwise can only breed dissent and chaos.
Tell me about this society you always once wanted.
It was an ambitious plan, our utopia. Perhaps too ambitious. We ascended to power, responding to a need inadequately satisfied. Assuming these roles gave us the authority to mold Aora over time, to influence you and lay the groundwork for a society yet to come. On the outset of the plan, some believed that mortals would outgrow us, as if that was a favorable outcome. To me, our eternal pantheon was always a critical fixture. Aethys was one of those who supported mortals, while I have always been their most vocal critic.
How would you have recognized that ideal society?
A valid, self-defeating question, and one which I posed often. We assumed that they, whoever they were, would reveal themselves to us. Rational government would rule in our stead, leaving churches vacant.
Interesting. We assumed that they, whoever they were, would reveal themselves to us. Rational government would rule in our stead, leaving churches vacant. Ooh, I'm seeing a similar story here as we see in history, based upon the liberal secular assumption of the Enlightenment. A lot of stories that have to do with gods always have to do with this idea nowadays, whether in any media, of needing human worship for them to exist, which is one of the flaws of polytheism, which kind of shows its falsehood. These beings they worship are not God, or not gods or God. There's no such thing. There is no true God except for one. Monotheism avoids this issue of the gods needing humans, or humans being the ones to the prayers, giving powers to the gods. That's false. Right? God's supposed to be omnipotent, but humans need God. That's the way you see it in monotheism, for example. Right? The idea of rational government is not some isolated thing. It's not this separate thing. It's in conjunction with the more holistic model. Right? You need the rational, you need the spiritual, you need this world in order to attain the next. Right? You need education, for example, to not just teach you about the physical world, but also the spiritual world, your inner self. So this separation that the Enlightenment brought and its subsequent consequences, which obviously influences the writers of this game, is not very holistic. It leaves a lot out of the human experience. And you can see this in the reflection of this media and this particular god and this setup. You see this in anime, isekai animes, and these types of mediums, where they seem to come to the only conclusions they come to is based upon the limits their mind is put by the paradigm which their society operates, right? And the epistemology in which their society operates, and the extremist epistemology, extremist paradigm, right? It's either the extreme materialism or extreme spiritualism and superstition. There's no balance. Right? They don't see religion and science, for example, coexisting. They see them as separate things. Well, when you look at Islamic civilization, that isn't the case. So for me, this story of this game is very much limited by the Western materialist paradigm. Obviously, if you don't know anything about that, you're probably like, what the hell is he talking about? That is a topic for another day. Maybe. But I would investigate the Enlightenment and some of the intellectual developments of the West to know what I mean. I also study the Islamic worldview.
Thanks to Aethys, we're pulling the dough from the oven before it's had a chance to fully rise. You unfortunate bastards never had the chance to prove me wrong.
Oh god. But yeah, sorry for that rambling. It just went off. I found it incoherent as hell. What do the other guys tolerate your opposition?
Opposition can take many forms. If a church embraces and weaponizes my doctrine, that is very different from me rampaging as a titan. Aethys is not known for subtlety. Twice now, he has contaminated the purity of our experiment, and done so with extravagant displays that undermine our authority.
100 dropped a monon era, what do you call that?
Impulsive. I am the counterpoint to the soft-hearted. It makes no difference if mortals pass some arbitrary test. My mind is settled on the matter, regardless of my feelings. The timing of this crisis forces us to accelerate our schedule. Final judgment comes sooner than any of us would prefer.
See, what happens if someone proves you wrong?
If our pantheon found that mortals had cultivated a perfect, lawful system to maturity, I would not voice a word in protest. I would merely stand aside and await the inevitable collapse. Mortals need us. I know this as well as I know myself. Even a lawful and responsible society would be poised to collapse as long as its architects and strongest adherents were mortal. Any satisfaction that my siblings derived from their little experiment would be short-lived, and it would fall to me to clean up after their mess.
The method is giving, so even when you're wrong, you're right. Got it.
Make no mistake, Watcher. In this, I cannot be proven wrong.
Doesn't the social engineering plan seem counterintuitive?
You mean
Boudica?
gods crafting a godless world? Naturally. My siblings desired to influence mortals and steer them in a proper direction, even if that direction led to places we could not follow. I have no intention of being left behind. Society would unravel without its queen to impose strict order. You have learned much already. Only ask if you are ready for the truth.
Why did you choose to confide in me?
Whether knowingly or unintentionally, you seem to find yourself on the vanguard of change. Mortals like you come but once in a lifetime. Some would react poorly if I stripped mortals of their freedom without giving them a chance to plead their case. You have the honor of standing tall as their advocate. Before I return to Aora and assume my position as your deserving tyrant, you have this opportunity to prove me wrong. To demonstrate whether or not mortals are responsible enough to claim their future.
See. You need order even though it takes form of tyranny. You speak as if we don't have a chance.
Mortals have precious little time to decide for themselves. Will they stand together as one, or swallow their pride and bend the knee? I have every confidence that you will disappoint us.
Thank you.
Once my position is upheld, the undecided among the gods will embrace my plan.
Guess we'll speak again. I'm just gonna close the book now.
Yes, I think we will. This is not the end of our discussion. You know how to find your way back to this place.
Boudica nods stiffly. You feel her presence drift as a breeze, rustling as it goes.
Alright. Fine. Sayuka, Asanga. Torno and the Voyager early muster frequent to the waters north of Nekataka, south of Sayuka. This way. You have to go here for the map quest. Damage. Save. Yeah, he'll be a car and take your ship. Eastern Coast, Sasonga. Actually, where my bounties right there. I never did try that. Success, failure, with want to hurt her. Just look at her face. So earnest. Just look at that face. Bandana. To the right. I really don't want to attack. You have lost reputation with people. Oh no. You gained life and drink. Hey. Full speed ahead. Range 16 meters away. Directly from the ship sailed with flutter. Stop. Here at the start, on that side. Closer. Get a little temporarily up the tree. There's the ship right there. To my right. Fire port cannons. Point encounters for the fact bombs there, try to bomb gun, oh, miss. Perfect. And of course, one of them hits. Starboard. Ooh, they rammed into us for all damage. Oh my god. They are boarding. As we're fighting. Good God almighty. Rise like Andros Tide, advance.
Moeth, Ixie, Honor.
Try this. So that's how it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Arthek, Worthen, Roth.
What else? What do we want to do? Penetrating strike? What the hell?
Show him how
Let's
it's
go.
done.
Very. Was in ball bags. I'll be
Come
seeing
on,
you
come on.
soon.
Come on, come on. Okay. Potion of mileage dealing after this we go inside.
Mo is see all now.
What happened, buddy? Why aren't we dead? Why aren't we feeling better?
Beyond seek.
Right.
How do you like that?
That's me too, man.
We killed. Nice. Killed
Right.
these. Morale gained 15. Crew earned 770 experience. And 2 sailors. I gained a rank. Theodore gained a level. Theodore gained a rank. Rumdum Rigore gained a level. Chichipe gained a level. Chair from all. Answer the midwood stag. Two-handed pipe. Exceptional. Pass wood skin when the position. What? Took the bounty. Taka. I didn't know we could do that. They're all known locations.
His sweetheart standing by his side had many a silent tear, and as he pressed her to his heart, he whispered.
Pretty good at my first ship battle. I might go with this option.
Good. What for, Cap?
Didn't know that before.
How may I help?
Yeah.
What do you need? Hey.
There were some status effects that Skill has the will because of his damage. 25% chance of scoring a kill with this weapon to friendly the wielder. Cool, as well as minus 25 above, quickly has a super cost 25%
Yeah? Of course.
There she is.
Ak, my little privateer. You have
I
news
dealt-
for me?
I have dealt with the Arca.
Perfecto. A fitting test of your skills and a promising beginning for us both. It goes without saying that I have more work for you if you have the space for more coin. The company is always eager to hunt pirates. My contacts have one by the name of Veen in their spyglass. Veen is a Vithrak, if such things matter to you. Gets in your head, they say. Gelarde. You can catch up to Veen as he sails the Dao reckless far east of Nekataka, past the Kuaurikuhu Islands, no doubt thinking himself beyond our reach.
Bit too strong. How is it? Hold on. Oh, we got some level ups going on. Level up real quick. Then I get to choose two. Do that. Body attunement. I don't know if I'm meant to block. Silence screen. Cutting the target is looking more done by enemies. Tails, the flanks, inflicting on major pierce damage to all the line attack. Interesting, cause enemies and air effectively the worst fears may realize finding significant direction. Puppet Master. Casting target while casting target effects doesn't. Attack. He loves this attack. Athletics. Stay here and go after some of these bounties.